Hi, this is Ajmal the developer and welcome back to HTML tutorial number 9 on block and inline elements. So in this tutorial we will discuss the different types or different display values of elements, and each element by default has two different display value, which are block and inline. So without further delay, let's go ahead and start coding that. So I'm gonna actually delete this and start from the beginning so that everyone is on the same page. And like I said, HTML, all elements have two display values, block and inline. So what is block element? A block level element always starts on the same line and takes up the entire width of the line available. So it stretches all the way from the left, goes all the way to the right. And the inline, on the other hand, only takes as much space as necessary. So you can, in other words, you can fit maybe 2-3 different elements on the same line. Based on the width of that element. So let's demonstrate that so that you have a better idea. And I'm gonna write a paragraph for the block element. So paragraph, we need to style it. That's mandatory. Style equals open quote border columns. We want the border to be 1 pixel. We want it to be solid, and we want it to be, let's say, red. And close quote and close the opening tag, and let's call this paragraph hello world. And let's close this paragraph. So the reason why we style it is because I want you to see the area that this paragraph uses it. So that's the reason why we're styling it, which you will see the difference in the browser in a few minutes. So that's that for block element. We're gonna copy this, paste it again. H1, let's call this block element. Block element. And the next one will be inline element. So for inline, I'm going to use one of these elements. So all of these elements are inline elements, and above it, all these elements are block elements. So I'm going to choose one of these elements, and these are nested elements, so we can use these elements in between paragraph elements. So let's go ahead and use maybe a strong to show the paragraph, to basically show it as bold. So like I said, it is a nested element, so you can use a few of them in between the same paragraph. And closed. So that's that. So this will be block element, and this will be inline element. I know that it doesn't make much of a sense right now, but once we save this and run it, you should see the difference, and you should see why we need them and what is the importance between off versus block versus inline. So let's go ahead and run this on Chrome. As you can see, this is our block element, so it's basically occupying the entire width of the page. So you might say, well, why do we need this? The reason why we need it is because if you want to add maybe 2 or 3 of the sentence hello world in the same line, you are not able to do that. So in order to do that, you would need the inline element. So we have the inline element here, and why don't we do the same thing here? Why don't we add a few of this hello world on the same line so that you see the difference? Let's go back to our document, and we can copy this and paste it. And if you remember, to add a space, there's a element which is called ampersand NBSP, which stands for a space. So we're going to take advantage of that. And why don't we use a different nested element this time as opposed to strong? Let's use a span. A span is basically when you want to add 2 different sentence or words on the same paragraph. That's when you take advantage of a span. So we're going to copy this and paste it here instead of a strong. Just like that. So we're going to save this and rerun it. You see, so we got 2 hello world on the same line, and you can have as many as you can. Again, it depends on the width of your sentence and the availability of a space that you have on the same line. So that's just a quick tutorial on 2 different display values of elements. So again, there's block and inline element. So let's go ahead to our code and do a recap. So again, every HTML element has a default display value depending on what type of value it is. The 2 main display values are block and inline, which I just demonstrated. And each element has one of these values. So all of these elements that you see here, they all have block values, rather, display values. And all these elements have inline display values. So that's that for this tutorial. Thanks for your attention, and I will see you on HTML tutorial number 10, hopefully.